Go ahead.
Alright, yeah.
Just you filming
questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the most difficult shot for you guys to film during the music video?
Most difficult was probably the rooftop jamming, because we used our friend Henry's apartment, which shout out to Henry, thank you man. Such a beautiful shot, beautiful scenery in the background, but we had to lug all our equipment up 7 flights of stairs.
Lugging our equipment around was pretty difficult, but it was just a blast all around. So
just carrying all the equipment through Central Park, I mean, it was a bit of a hike.
We were sweaty at the end of that, but it was all worth it.
It's probably the beginning of the Chase video, because we all had to be in sync with the song, with the newspapers, and we all had to stand up at the same time. And
getting the beginning in sync when we all put up our newspapers at the same time and standing up in sync was kind of tough.
It was probably the carousel ride, because it was just so fun and cheery, and it looked kind of dorky, but at the same time it was, you know, very fun.
Definitely the carousel in Central Park.
Favorite location was probably Central Park. Just iconic for the city.
The filming that we did in Times Square, it was kind of surreal, like seeing the finished product, because I remember singing along. Brian was holding the iPhone playing the music for me, so it was kind of tough to hear because it was crowded, but just seeing the way it looked with the lights and all those like classic flashy billboards in the background, I really liked the way that came out. I also liked the shot of us in the subway eating the pizza. That one made me like super happy we were able to get that in there at the end. So people were kind of shocked, I think, to see us, especially since we had the music playing in real time so that I could sing along with it. So we were making a bit of noise, and I was actually singing, which I felt kind of awkward at certain times, just singing the song in the middle of the public. But there's one particular thing that I remember in the shot that we ended up using where we all stood up and started walking. There was a family off to like my left on the sidewalk, and as we're walking by them, you can actually see them in that opening shot where we're all kind of walking. You see like one of the men in the family just kind of like turn and look at us, and everyone, they seem kind of caught off guard. And I remember them, since we did that shot multiple times, kind of watching us, filming us a little bit. So we felt kind of cool, like a little celebrity. We're not really used to that.
People were definitely giving us weird looks like what we were doing, because we were doing, you know, different scenes like multiple times, one after another.
Oh, we definitely got some funny looks. Especially, you know, Central Park, we were in Times Square, we were walking through the city with our equipment on our backs, videographer, small team around us, so like we looked like we were, you know, from Hollywood. We looked like we were just some kind of celebrities, so everyone's kind of like giving you that look, trying to figure out like, ooh, who are these guys, like should I know who they are, should I go take a picture or something?
Some people gave you some weird looks. It was cool. It kind of seemed like we were a big deal.
The Chase to me is about the early stages of a relationship, when you're still, you know, questioning whether you have that security in your relationship, and whether you're, you know, when you have to question, am I doing the right things? Does this person really like me for who I am? And kind of just working your way through that early stage of your relationship.
Keep going for what you want.
Yeah, it's like a train ride. Like, keep going.
Cool. Sort of longing for your relationship with somebody to progress to a new point, but that person isn't really giving you a lot of the signs that you might typically want to see. Like, you're not really sure if the other person's as into you as you're into them, and you feel like they're kind of giving you a little sign and then kind of backing off again. So you're kind of like going crazy. Do I keep going after this? Give me a little bit more of a sign. Am I doing the right thing? So it's like a lot of self-doubt, but also just that butterfly feeling that you get when you like somebody.
The songwriting process was took place at a studio, Zin Records. That's we've recorded a lot of our music at. It was a good time. We did drums, guitars, kind of worked our way building up the track to what you hear it is today.
We knew kind of the type of song we wanted to write, but not really exactly what it would sound like. So Pat originally came up with like this little riff on the guitar, and Nick kind of threw the pre-chorus into the mix, and then I sort of came in a little bit later in the process and tried to really bring the song across the finish line.
So now how are we going to segue out of that? Let's leave it important for a second, because if we're going to end here, that's where the verse starts.
So it was nice in the sense that we all, I think, feel like an attachment to the song. We were all kind of writing it together. And in the studio, it took us a while to get everything right, since it was one of the first songs we really recorded at the level that we like to think we can continue recording. But it was a really fun process. I think all the sounds came out just right.
The recording process was funny. So I think Pat and I were there in the studio first, and him and I both started the recording of the song. I recorded a scratch drum track, and Pat had a scratch vocal, so we kind of listened to each other play the song. And then from there, our engineer, Nick Zananti, helped me pick out drum sounds, and it was really, really a good time.
For one of the first days recording, we usually start laying down, bass and drums first. But we usually have a scratch, guitar, and vocal for that. But Dan wasn't able to come. So it was just me and Brian out in the studio, and we needed someone to sing the song and play guitar. So I laid down a pretty mediocre version of the vocals and guitar, and that was pretty funny. Don't know if that will ever see the light of day. I hope it doesn't.
Yay!
Cool. Thank you so much.
The songwriting process was fun. I'm gonna start that over.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah!